now would be a good time for you guys to start moving back towards your seats. We're going to keep it moving.
Okay, everyone, we're going to reconvene. Come on in and please go back to the same table you were at before because we're going to be building on the exercise you started. Come on in and please go back to the table you were at before because we're going to be building on the exercise. Except for Anna, you can stay there. Okay, we're going to get started. Come on in from the hallway. Keep coming in from the hallway. As you're coming in, please go back to the same table that you were sitting at before because we're going to be building on the exercise you started. Same thing with facilitators. Please go back to the table you were at before. Should we get started? Should we just go? Let's go with the first slide. Okay, so for the second panel, we are going to move into what we're calling multi-milestone discussions. So we all know that there's a lot of systemic issues and factors that cut across all of the cradle to career milestones. And several years ago, the Leadership Council got together and identified some of these milestones. So next slide. For the partnership. And the ones that we're focusing on are funding inequities, educators of color, and the disproportional percentage of students of color in Marin versus educators of color, cultural responsiveness, formerly known as cultural competence. So one of my learning moments in this work, which is relative to my life, pretty new to me, was we started out calling this initiative cultural competence. And, in learning more about it, I realized that there's no such thing as cultural competence. And this isn't something that you can get really good at and check off your list. This is something that we all, and myself included, have to keep working at time after time. And I've just, I've made a lot of mistakes in this area, and I appreciate a lot of the support I've gotten from a lot of you in this area to learn about it. But so when you see cultural responsiveness, you might think, oh, we had another initiative, and it's the same one. So, and then the last is the West Marin Whole Child Initiative, which is really building on the West Marin Collaborative, which is one of the most special, I think, community-based collaboratives we have in Marin that really truly includes grassroots members and across all sectors, health, law enforcement, government, everything. And we're really building out the education piece of that, the cradle to career piece of that in West Marin with a lot of help from a lot of partners. And just on that note, I wanted to acknowledge Dennis Rodoni, who just joined us, our supervisor from West Marin. So thank you. All right. Last thing to keep in mind is that you have on your checkout survey, room on the back. So as you're thinking of questions, because I think you'll have a lot for this panel, at the end of this session, we're going to do a really quick popcorn questions from the audience and capture as many of them as we can on flip charts. So just be ready for that because we'll have an opportunity to kind of get all the questions out on the table quickly. Juliet.
Sure mine is on. And I'd like to start by doing the similar introduction where we ask your name, a personal value that guides your educational equity work, your job title and organization, and your role in the education system. And I will model that by saying, my name is Dr. Juliet Schiller, and my values that really drive me are justice and dignity for myself and for all others. And my title has changed a few times, so coming soon. I'm Director of Collaborative Action. It's been named a couple of things, and that's with Marin Promise. And my role, I am raising 2 teenagers, so even though they're not little ones, I still lose sleep, and that's a big surprise to me that you go back to that pattern of not having sleep every single night. And so that's something that's ongoing. And I also facilitate the third grade early literacy team, the college readiness keeping every door action team, the college completion team, and the multi-milestone initiatives on educators of color pipeline and the cultural responsiveness work. So deeply in this work in the county, and I'll turn it to the panelists.
Great. Hi, I'm Chandra Alexander, and I stand for justice and compassion and self-care for myself and all others. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Community Action Marin. Most of our work and my engagement today is around our commitment to early childhood development and providing quality services, both free and affordable for folks here in Marin County. And that is largely the hat that I'm engaged with at this table, although the work that we do touches low-income families across the continuum.
Good morning. My name is Jim Hogaboom. I stand for equity and personal growth for myself and all others, thanks to the LEO training that I think a lot of us have been to. I'm the superintendent of Santa Fe City Schools, and then before that, had the opportunity to be the superintendent in Vado, so nice to see a bunch of old friends out there. And so I'm obviously working in the K-12 arena. I guess I would say that I'm a father also of a daughter who's just graduated from college and a son who's the eternal challenge. So Amy and Anna talked about daughters, but those of you who are parents of boys, my son's 20 going on 10. Although I'm assured that one day he will mature, which he has slightly. So he goes to Santa Rosa JC, but he has been the challenge of a lifetime and helped me to keep my humility and try to learn and grow.
My name is Bob Rains.
Yikes.
Try that. My name is Bob Rains. I'm the superintendent in Shoreline Unified. I stand for compassion and opportunity. As a matter of fact, I heard a number of years ago a gentleman talk about every child deserves an opportunity for an opportunity. And that's something that's kind of carried my work. So like I said, I get to be the superintendent at Shoreline Unified School District, which is really a wonderful chance for me to do some good work. I look around the room and I see lots of our partners there that are doing, helping us do good things for our kids. I also bring, my pathway was through the classroom, through elementary classroom, through special ed classrooms, into special ed administration, elementary school administration, and kind of found my way back to the Shoreline District. I'm also the father of 2 grown sons, and soon to be the grandfather of a beautiful, intelligent, wonderful little girl. So I am in December, by December I will have bought everything that has ruffles or ribbons on it. And I've been given permission by my daughter-in-law to go ahead and do that, even though I worry about, she does have a onesie, by the way, I've already purchased, that, that has the pi sign on it, and underneath it, it says, downloading math skills. So we're trying to do the whole thing there.
Good morning. My name is Chantel Walker, and the values that stand out most for me are community and strength. Community for me is connectedness, and it's joy, and it's collective power, it's identity. And for me, strength is sometimes courage, and sometimes strength is compassion. Just depends on the day. I think that one way that I'm connected to the work really is both through my formal job, and I'm the assistant director of the county library system, Marin County Free Library, and as a parent. I have an 11th grader and I have a 7th grader. So middle school and high school in those particular years are close to my mind. And I have 2 kids who are just super different from one another. And that helps me really think about engagement in education.
Hello everyone, my name is Omar Carrera. I think something that defines everything that I do every day is human dignity. And the access to high quality education is a powerful tool, not just to develop your full potential, but to ensure human dignity. I'm the CEO of Canal Alliance, a nonprofit in the canal that is a champion of immigrants. My role, I see myself, I'm a parent as well. I have 2 kids. One went to private school, the other went to public school, so I have been able to see both worlds and learn how much work we need to do in the public education system. But I think my primary role also is to play a proactive role in disrupting the dysfunctional system that we have. That's preventing for many children of color not to find access to that success and opportunities. And I'm honored to work with many of you that are here in this room achieving that goal.
Cue up that first slide. Thank you. The slide you are looking at shows stark inequity in per pupil funding across districts in Marin. State funding inequity contributes to this, but it is exacerbated by the funding that is controlled locally through parcel taxes and foundations. Of the 3 multi-milestone initiatives, addressing funding inequities across the county is a new area where the partnership is just getting started collecting and sharing this baseline data. The data shared show one type of funding inequity between districts and communities in Marin. Are there any others that you would like to highlight for further exploration? Why don't we start with you, Chandra, as somebody who works within the early childhood space?
Sure, but I have to tell you, I have a daughter too, so everybody, I have to own up to the mom part of it. 5th grader. So yes, early childhood, as Daphne was speaking on the prior panel, really informs our engagement across the entire system. And I would say that we see so blatantly every day the inequities that are made evident by what we have created and what we do or don't do relative to the provision of access to those opportunities for people of color in Marin County and for families who are living at a level of poverty that makes living here incredibly difficult. Early childhood education, in order to provide quality to families and access to opportunity, means that we're able to open classrooms that they need. And part of the challenge that we see and we face, we provide both free Head Start programs to our families, and we also provide, we are the largest provider of subsidized childcare in Marin County. So we provide affordable childcare to families. And we know that the need is greater than what we're able to provide because of the funding that we receive. And we also know that we oftentimes can't provide the services that are needed. For example, infant and toddler care. We can't open classrooms to provide that care because we can't pay our staff wages that they would be able to live by in Marin County. And when you need $19 or $20 or $21 to be able to live in this county, and you can't afford, vis-a-vis our funding mechanisms, to pay your staff enough to be able to work here and live here, we are facing a real crisis in our system. And so I just want to highlight that we're starting from a place of existing inequities that are only compounded by the funding challenges that we face.
Jim, turning to you, can you give